Hello, everyone. I am so happy to have you here today. This is a TOEFL listen to a conversation activity, where we practice understanding real-life campus scenarios. You have just heard a short interaction between a student and a staff member, so let us move on to the questions and see how well you captured the details. If you are looking for more ways to boost your score, be sure to subscribe to my TOEFL and continue learning with us every day. Let us keep up the great work.
Excuse me, I'm here to use the computer lab, but the door is locked.
Oh, the lab is closing early today at 5 p.m. for maintenance.
I didn't know. I have a paper due tomorrow morning and really need a printer.
You should use the library printer instead, or reserve a lab slot online for tomorrow at 8 a.m.
Thanks. I'll go to the library right now since I can't wait until tomorrow.
Now that you have listened to the conversation, please choose the best answer for the first question. So, what is the speaker saying here? Excuse me, I'm here to use the computer lab, but the door is locked. In this opening sentence, the woman immediately identifies her location and the problem. She mentions the computer lab as her intended destination. The most important phrase here is that the door is locked. This establishes the conflict of the conversation. Whenever you hear a student say a door is locked in a TOEFL dialogue, you know they are about to ask for a reason or a solution. Oh, the lab is closing early today at 5 p.m. for maintenance. The man explains the reason for the trouble. He uses the phrase closing early to describe the lab's status. Why is it closed? He specifically mentions maintenance. Understanding the reason, which is maintenance, helps us clarify why the student cannot simply walk in and start her work. I didn't know. I have a paper due tomorrow morning and really need a printer. Here, the woman explains her urgency. She has a paper due very soon, which creates pressure. She also clarifies her specific goal. She needs a printer. In TOEFL conversations, the specific need of the student often determines which solution they will eventually choose. You should use the library printer instead, or reserve a lab slot online for tomorrow at 8 a.m. The man offers two distinct suggestions. The first is to use the library printer right away. The second is to reserve a lab slot for the next day. These options represent a choice between an immediate action instead of the lab or a delayed plan. Thanks, I'll go to the library right now, since I can't wait until tomorrow. In the final sentence, the woman makes her choice. She decides she will go to the library immediately. She explains that she can't wait because of her deadline. Pay close attention to phrases like right now, because they tell you exactly what the person is going to do next. All right, let's jump into the first question together. It is important to identify the main reason the speakers are talking. Why does the woman talk to the man? This question is asking for the main purpose of the conversation. We need to find why the woman approached the man in the first place. By looking at the beginning of the dialogue, we see she is confused because the door is locked. She is essentially seeking an explanation for why the lab is not accessible. A great test-taking tip for purpose questions is to look at the very first thing the student says, as it almost always contains the primary reason for the interaction. Let's take a closer look at option A. She wants to request a new computer password. This choice suggests the woman needs a password. However, if we check the transcript, she never mentions a password. She is actually looking for a printer. Therefore, this detail is completely absent from the conversation. Incorrect. Next, we'll examine option B. She found a broken lab printer. This option claims the woman found a broken printer. While she does need a printer, she cannot even enter the lab because the door is locked. She has not seen any equipment yet, so she cannot report something as broken. Incorrect. Here's option C. Let's break it down. She wonders why the lab is closed. This choice states that she wonders why the lab is not open. This matches perfectly with her first sentence where she says the door is locked. She is looking for an explanation, and the man provides one by saying it is closing early. This is the most accurate reflection of the conversation's start. Correct. Let's evaluate option D together. She needs a paper deadline extension. This option suggests she is asking for an extension. While she does mention she has a paper due, she never asks for more time. She is talking to a lab worker, not her professor, so he would not be able to grant an extension anyway. Incorrect. The correct answer is C, because the key expressions in the text directly match this option, while the other choices either provide incomplete information or clearly contradict the passage. Fantastic work on the first question. Now, let us move on to the second question and see what the woman's next step will be. What will the woman do next? This question is asking for the student's next action or final decision. To find this, we must look at the end of the conversation. The woman listens to the man's suggestions and then makes a commitment. She specifically says she will go to the library. A very useful tip for these types of questions is to always listen for the very last thing the student says, as it usually reveals their action plan. Now, let's examine option A. She will reserve a computer for tomorrow. This option suggests she will reserve a spot for later. Although the man suggests she could reserve a lab slot, the woman rejects this because she can't wait until tomorrow. Since she turns down this suggestion, it cannot be what she does next. Incorrect. Let's evaluate option B and see how it fits. She will finish her work at home. This option says she will work at home. However, there is no mention of home in the entire script. She is looking for campus resources like a printer. We should never choose an answer that introduces new locations not mentioned in the audio. Incorrect. Next, we'll examine option C. She will wait for the lab. This choice says she will wait, but the man explicitly told her the lab is closing early for maintenance. Furthermore, she states she can't wait because her paper is due tomorrow. This contradicts her actual statement. Incorrect. Now that we've reviewed the example, let's check option D and see if it matches. She will visit the campus library. This option says she will visit the library. This matches her final statement exactly where she says, "I'll go to the library right now." She is taking the man's advice to use the library resources instead. This is clearly her immediate next step. Correct. The correct answer is D, because the key expressions in the text directly match this option, while the other choices either provide incomplete information or clearly contradict the passage.